vyote kwa pamoja bila ya kuwa na majeraha ya awali. Chanjo ya polio na nyinginezo zimefanyiwa ukaguzi, kujaribiwa na kuthibitishwa kuwa salama, hivyo basi zinafaa. Chanja na umlinde mtoto wako sasa. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na Wizara ya Afya, UNICEF na washirika wengine.
We asked the children, how many of you brushed this morning? And this little boy, his hand didn't go up. And I said, well, why didn't you brush this morning? He said, my brother was using the toothbrush. If I'd waited for him, I would have been late for school. I'm sorry, I get a bit emotional when it comes to that. To be able to change a child's life, to be able to bring back that confidence about their smile, for me, is phenomenal.
Good evening and welcome to Prime Edition. It looks like it's an impeachment fever because as the proceedings against Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua are ongoing, Kericho County Assembly has also impeached its governor, Eric Mutai. We have details lined up for you and many more stories that have been happening across the country. Welcome to Prime Edition. Here are tonight's highlights.
List all 290 constituencies and indicate that the exercise is to be coordinated from 47 count venues or collection centers across the country. Parliament
sensitizes public on how and where to submit their views on the intended impeachment of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. The fate of Kericho Governor Eric Mutai now in the hands of senators after County Assembly votes in favor of his impeachment. And chronic illness patients struggle to access services in hospitals as a transition from NHIF to SHIF experiences teething problems. Brian Muraru is our sign language interpreter. My name is John Jacob Kioria. You're very much welcome to the broadcast. And the political future of Kericho Governor Eric Mutai will now be determined by the Senate after the County Assembly impeached the governor. 31 members of the Assembly voted to remove him from office on grounds of gross violation of a constitution and gross misconduct. The County Assembly impeached the governor despite a court order that had barred the Assembly from holding the impeachment proceedings for that matter. The court order blocking the County Assembly from debating the impeachment proceedings are reported to have been received at the County Assembly after the fact. Sigowet Ward MCA Kiprotich Rugonyi pushed through with the ouster motion, despite a section of the MCAs who had signed the impeachment motion opting to stay away from the chambers. Rugonyi laid the grounds of impeachment against Mutai, accusing the former university don of gross violation of a constitution, abuse of office and misuse of public resources.
For this county to progress, for this county to prosper, for us to even get the much needed on revenue, for us to be able to discharge the mandate of this county, then this governor must hold the speaker.
You find the governor, instead of providing us money, allocating money, to stop this high rate of development cases. He is busy leading the team in Parliament.
We used to collect 5 million an hour. As we are speaking now, we are not even getting 1 million.
While the governor was expected to appear in person to mount his defense, he opted to send his counsel, Kato Kigen.
It is our position, therefore, Mr. Speaker, sir, that in the face of the order, this proceeding should be halted. However, if at the end of the court proceedings and at the end of the judge decides that this matter should come back here, we will be relying on that statement and we will not be foregoing his right to defend himself.
And when the speaker called for a vote, 31 members voted to remove him from office.
Of the Governor of Kericho County, Honorable Dr. Eric Kericho by impeachment has been supported by 2/3 of the members of the County Assembly. I therefore declare that the motion is passed and the Governor, Dr. Eric Kericho stands impeached.
The Kericho County Assembly Speaker is expected to write to the Speaker of the Senate, Amason Kingi, informing him of the decision to impeach the governor. The Senate, once notified of the decision, will choose to hear both sides either through a special committee or in plenary and later dismiss or uphold the impeachment. Mutai is the second governor post-2022 elections to face senators after Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza, who has had 2 of her impeachments dismissed and 1 upheld. In the meantime, the National Assembly has set Tuesday next week to hear and determine the impeachment charges against the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Speaker Moses Wetangula said Gachagua can choose to defend himself during the session or send his legal representative. The National Assembly will conduct public participation from all the 290 constituencies and, of course, all the 47 determined locations in counties, and that will begin on Friday.
Honourable members, I have a further communication on the consideration of the special motion for the removal from office by impeachment of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua.
The public will have their say on the impeachment motion against the Deputy President, and Parliament has said Friday when Kenyans in the 290 constituency will give their input on the motion.
As members are aware, the advertisements published today inviting submission of views and notifying the public of hearings on the special motion list all 290 constituencies and indicate that the exercise is to be coordinated from 47 count venues or collection centers across the country.
To facilitate public participation, the House will adjourn its session on Thursday afternoon, allowing lawmakers to visit their constituents.
This House resolved to suspend its sitting of Thursday, 3rd October 2024, so as to allow administrative arrangements necessary to facilitate the program of public participation on the special motion for the removal from office by impeachment of His Excellency Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya.
The impeachment motion, which is set to be prosecuted on Tuesday next week, and the Deputy President will have a chance to respond to the 11 charges as indicated by the Kibwezi West legislator.
His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua did declare that he was worth 800 million. We are aware that he's paid slightly over 1 billion, meaning that for the last 2 years, the much he could have accumulated justly is about 24 million. But I would demonstrate before Kenyans that he has properties to himself, the ones that I was able to get in my time of research, worth 5.2 billion Kenya shillings. This is what we call unexplained assets, and we must slay the dragon of corruption from the highest office.
Drawing from the foregoing and the timelines provided for the House to dispose of the motion, for which notice was given today, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya is entitled to appear before the House in person through a legal representative or both during consideration of the motion, noting that the special motion shall be considered on 8th October 2024 I have directed that the Deputy President, be notified of his right to appear on the said date and the allocation of time from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., 2 hours.
Parliament has provided a template where the public will indicate if they support or oppose the motion altogether. The two-page document, which has cited the charges against the second-in-command, requires members of the public to append their signature. The public have been requested by the Clerk of the National Assembly to hand-deliver or email once they fill the template on or before Saturday, 5th of October 2024.
The security of members whose support of the special motion may affect their personal safety.
Let's stay on that impeachment bit. An opinion remains divided over the tabling of an impeachment motion against the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, in the National Assembly. A section of the clergy advocating for reconciliation voiced their objection to the motion, warning that the power struggle could upset the country's stability. Ben Chumbe has details of the varied reactions among religious, political and civil society leaders.
Can I have a sip of my water?
Go ahead.
A day after an impeachment motion against the Deputy President was introduced in the National Assembly, a cross-section of Kenyans, religious and political leaders have added their voice to the action of the Senate. A section of the clergy under the umbrella of the Association of Pentecostal and Evangelical Clergy of Kenya want President Ruto's administration to prioritize reconciliation.
Talk to each other so that they can solve the problem without necessarily having to bring this push and pull, which is not very healthy for the Kenyan people.
If there is any problem between them, they should even have come to the church and say, we have this problem, and we pray for them because we believe in unity.
And you forgive each other, it will be good because it is actually for the nation of Kenya. We don't want to have a problem after 2 years. We have so much problems, and yet we were doing a lot of developments for our country. We believe that our president will consider what we are saying here. Let us unite this nation.
In addition, they called for a withdrawal of the Religious Organization Bill 2024, describing it as punitive and an infringement on the freedom of worship, asking the president to revisit commitments made to the church in a memorandum signed in May 2022.
This MOU reflects the hopes and aspiration of a progressive church following extensive public participation and engagement with clergy leaders across all the counties in Kenya.
We call upon the legislature to withdraw the Religious Organization Bill 2024 and allow the church to self-regulate itself. We stand firmly against any attempt to impose foreign or inappropriate regulations on our worship practices, while we are committed to addressing local religious leaders within our ranks.
This comes as religious leaders from Murang'a called on political players to set aside their political differences for the good of the country.
Sababu kukiwa na amani, kwa kila jambo kitaweza kuendelea. Iwe ni nchi, iwe ni shule, iwe ni kanisa, iwe ni boma, tuzingatie hiyo kitu tunaita amani.
And if a nation is to grow and go to higher heights of growth and development, there must be peace. And this peace, as we have put it in our statement, comes through prayer and even through efforts to bring people together.
The debate was also rife in Kiambu County as leaders led by Ngarama Karanu, the representatives of the Kikuyu Council of Elders in Githunguri, warned the motion was ill-timed.
Kiambu viongozi wa Kiambu mfikiria kampuni ya kwenda kuweka hiyo vote. Sababu mmetuaibisha. Sisi Kiambu kama ni mahali nasimika, Kiambu ndio nasimika na mmetuuza, mmefanya Kiambu ikuwe laughing stock. Tuliaibika last election when we fought our own Uhuru Kenyatta. Now we are again fighting our own Gachagua. But what I want to tell Kikuyus, this is not about Uhuru, this is not about Gachagua. This is about the community.
The National Assembly is expected to debate the motion on Tuesday next week. Ben Chumba, Prime Edition.
And now the transition from the National Health Insurance Fund, NHIF, to the Social Health Insurance Fund, SHIF, has seen hundreds of chronic illness patients in various parts of the country struggle to access critical care. after most facilities rejected NHIF cards, instead demanding for cash payments. In Nakuru, the pain of a shift transition was felt by those with critical illnesses, as many were required to pay for services upfront. The Ministry of Health has directed all healthcare providers to ensure that services for SHA members, that is the Social Health Authority, remain uninterrupted.
For the second day running, confusion marred health facilities in several parts of the country, with hundreds of chronic illness patients in Nakuru County failing to access cancer and dialysis treatment after most facilities rejected NHIF cards and demanded cash payments.
Nimekuwa na shida ya kidney for the last 3 years. Nimekuwa nikidialyze mara 2 kwa kila wiki. Lakini sasa wakati wa hii transition from NHIF to SHA tumepata shida. Jana nilikuwa ni dialyze. Kuja mahali nafanya dialysis nikaambiwa haiwezekani sababu hawajapata the way forward from the government.
Through a statement, the Ministry of Health had directed healthcare providers to ensure uninterrupted services to SHA members. It further said that the ministry is taking proactive steps to ensure that all patients, including those scheduled for surgeries, receive uninterrupted care.
We have the clients who have been on NHIF who have been getting services, and most of them have already transitioned to the SHIFT platform. No services have been disrupted for the clients who we have had for the weekly basis schedules.
Speaking in Nairobi after meeting striking doctors working in public health facilities in Kiambu County, KMPDU Secretary General Dr. Dev Giatela decried what he termed as the rushed manner in which the new health scheme is being implemented.
It's not possible to actually rush to all these things, because, I mean, this is the first time UHC is being launched, or these things are being rolled out, or policies are being rolled out in the country. But they don't look at the aspect of service delivery to the people. Atela
warned that doctors all over the country will join their counterparts in Kiambu who are on strike, accusing the county government of failing to pay their 3-month salaries.
As we push the implementation of the issues in the counties, Kiambu County, as we escalate to other counties, if the counties are not responsive, we will not fail to go for national strike. We don't get tired, actually.
Joseph Ohungu for Prime Edition.
There can be no power.
Before we go to the next story, let me quickly tell you about what has transpired today. And one of them, of course, being that proposal you saw that seeks to extend the term of a president and other constitutional office holders at least for about 7 years. And the UDA party that is led by President William Ruto has released a statement this evening, and I'll read it a bit just so you understand. And the statement is signed by Hassan Omar Hassan, the Secretary General of the UDA party, and he says, bid to extend presidential term limit, repugnant, retrogressive and primitive. The statement is dated today. The United Democratic Alliance has learned with great concern and disappointment that one of the party's elected leaders has tabled a constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2024, which seeks to alter the constitutional term limit set for holders of elective offices by extending them. And the party says of grave concern is that this cynical, profoundly misguided and self-serving bill contravenes a long-held aspiration of the people of Kenya to retire the undemocratic entrenchment of accountable political monopolies and seeks to deny the people regular opportunities to hold leadership to account and directly exercise sovereign power. It does not seek to pursue any meaningful objectives beyond illegitimate, myopic and retrogressive ends. It's a long statement. I'll read the last paragraph. Says, the party therefore dissociates itself from the repugnant and backward bill and calls on any of its rank and file who leads, supports or is in any manner whatsoever involved with it to order a bill is compatible. The bill is incompatible with our policy and aspirations. This juvenile political experimentation and delinquent affront to our constitutional values must now be crushed to a halt. And that is the Secretary General of the UDA party, that is Hassan Omar Hassan. President William Ruto has held talks with a group of current and ex-governors and mayors from Africa under the African mayoral leadership. The delegation, which also included philanthropists, was led by Jimmy Cooper and Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja. During the meeting held at State House, Ruto commended the group for impactful leadership and efforts to build safe, smart and green cities for Africa's future. He noted that with a rapid urbanization, Kenya is making significant strides by investing in housing, climate resilience and infrastructure to support this transformation. The head of state also met with the East Africa Community Secretary General Veronica Nduva, who was accompanied by her deputies, who updated President Ruto on the reforms the East African community is undertaking to reduce the cost of trade and business within the region. John Otieno Ongojo, Irene Kisa Simuyu and Diana Kahindi have been arraigned at the Makadara Law Courts and charged with malicious damage to the property of two journalists in their line of duty. The journalists were attacked when they attempted to document a fire incident at Roto Tank Company in Nairobi.
Safety of journalists in the country continues to be a matter of concern as reports of harassment and intimidation continue to be reported in various quarters. In the latest incident, KBC's cameraman Fred Mochama and Victor Mugua of K24 were reportedly assaulted by staff members of Roto Tank Company to stop them from reporting on a fire incident at the company.
As long as journalists have come to your premises and they have identified themselves as journalists, they should be respected. Nobody should be assaulted in their line of duty. It is against every human right.
Journalists should be left to do their work. It's all contained in the media freedoms, and no one should stop a journalist from doing what they're supposed to do.
The three staff members have since been arrested and processed in court and given a 500,000 Kenyan shillings bond or a cash bail of 300,000 Kenyan shillings each.
The accused persons are hereby barred from communicating with any of the prosecution witnesses, either by themselves or their proxies, and if found to have breached these conditions, their bond will stand cancelled.
The court also issued an order for a senior manager at the company to appear before the Makadara magistrate. On 28th November, there will be a routine mention of pre-trial and the hearing of the case on 12th February 2025. Christine Matunda, Prime Edition.
A woman suspected to have been using her daycare facility in Kiambu County to coerce minors into sexual activities and film them for profit will remain in police custody for 14 days. The suspect, Teresia Wamboi Kihagi, will remain in custody as detectives try to unravel the happenings behind the walls of a 3-year-old daycare center in Wangige that hosts over 10 minors who are believed to be the victims. This comes as the High Court in Mombasa also okayed charges to be leveled against a county land executive officer alleged to have been involved in sodomizing, or rather in a sodomizing incident against a Mombasa-based blogger.
He was rescued from the private mob.
Teresia Wamboi Kehangi, who was arrested on Monday, appeared before resident magistrate Lilian Kwamboka Wednesday, where the investigating officer Nicodemus Musembi sought for 21 days to complete investigations.
Your Honor, the respondents alleged to have been engaging the minors into sexual activities, and in the videos obtained, sometimes she's touching their genital organs and recording them using her mobile phone.
The court was informed Wamboi allegedly engaged minors aged between 2 and 4 years in sexual activities by touching them inappropriately and recorded the activities at her daycare center.
Your Honor, this respondent has a pay bill account number in Equity Bank, which is also subject to investigation. To establish the motivation behind the recordings.
The investigating officer Nicodemus Musembi told the resident magistrate that Wamboi's phone was snagged while she was trying to crash it in an attempt to destroy the evidence.
To find the application merited, the same is hereby allowed. I will, however, grant 14 days, and should there be need for an extension, then the applicant shall be at liberty to move the court appropriately.
The minors have been taken to different health facilities for medical examination. Elsewhere, the High Court in Mombasa has ruled that a county land executive officer who was allegedly involved in sodomizing a blogger can be charged at any time, and the DCI can summon him at any time for questioning.
Wajibu wetu kama mawakili ni kuhakikisha kwamba haki inatendeka na mahakama inatimiza wajibu wake katika kutekeleza haki hii. Na pia Law Society of Kenya na Mombasa Law Society itajiunga katika kesi ile ya Shanzu, kwa sababu familia tunataka kuona haki ikitendeka kwa familia. Familia iko hapa na sisi leo.
The Mombasa blogger was allegedly taken from his house in Bamburi Mwisho by a gang, sodomized and dumped at Mwakirunge dam site.
Our role and duty in this matter, in the proceedings, will be to ensure that the victims have justice, to ensure that the process of investigations and prosecution is not maligned, is not tainted, and is not compromised.
Ruth Wamboi for Prime Edition.
A story by Ruth Wamboi takes us to a very fast breather on Prime Edition. Don't go too far, we're coming back with more news.
Kwenye star 570 hash option ya 4 na ushindi wako tunautangaza the 6th of October. Tucheze, tusaidie, tushinde!
Welcome to the Kenya Deposit Insurance Corporation, or KDIC, a state corporation established under the KDI Act Cap 487C. But who exactly are we? KDIC provides a deposit insurance for customers of member institutions. This means we protect your hard-earned money deposited in banks, giving you peace of mind knowing that your savings are safe. KDIC is also mandated to receive, liquidate, and wind up troubled banks, as well as provide incentives for sound risk management. We are here to protect your bank deposit and, together with other safety net players, ensure a stable financial system. KDIC. Safer, stronger, together.
Welcome back. Indeed, you are watching the Prime Edition. Let's continue with what has been happening across the country. And now the Ministry of Health has kicked off a 5-day polio vaccination campaign following the detection of 5 cases of persons infected with polio virus type 2 at Kakuma refugee camp in Turkana and Kamukunji in Nairobi. The campaign, which targets 3.8 million children under the age of 10, is ongoing in 9 high-risk counties, among them Nairobi, Kiambu, Busia, Bungoma, Turkana West, that is Turkana, West Pokot, Marsabit, Trans Nzoia and Machakos.
Wednesday morning in North Ruaraka, Nairobi County, we join a team of health workers who are on a mission to immunize minors. This is after the Ministry of Health announced a polio outbreak after 5 cases of circulating vaccine-derived polio virus type 2 were detected at the Kakuma refugee camp in Turkana and Kamukunji in Nairobi. The Ministry of Health mapped out 9 high-risk counties of Nairobi, Kiambu, Busia, Bungoma, Turkana, West Pokot, Marsabit, Trans Nzoia and Machakos, targeting to vaccinate 3.8 million million children under the age of 10 years. We visit one of the homesteads and the health workers observe protocols, engaging the parents on the pros of the exercise before administering the vaccine. But were residents aware of the drive?
Naweza waambia wazazi wa watoto wao wote kwa sababu hii polio haina dawa. Yani ni mzuri watoto wakichanjo.
Hizo zingine zenye zimekuwa ziki announcewa amekuwa akipata, siwezi taka apate complication yoyote na ugonjwa wa polio.
Some are still not fully informed of the dangers of the disease.
Unaona watoto wasipopewa hiyo chanjo wanapooza. Lakini inakuwa too late, lakini sijui kama watu huwa wanapona after pooza. I don't.
Dr. Robert Kariuki is the sub-county medical officer in charge of Ruaraka and Roysambu.
Polio is not curable. We prevent it through vaccination. And that's why we really, the government is really investing in this, because ultimately without cure, then if you are at risk.
He says in his region they're targeting over 100,000 children.
In Ruaraka side we have a target of about 83,400, which we are supposed to reach. Every child under age of 5. That is for Ruaraka, and for Roysambu we are supposed to do about 68,000.
However, the campaign is faced with a couple of challenges.
Kufungua inakuwa anatake wrong. Gorofa kama hii kubwa unaona hapa nyuma yangu ni kubwa sana, iko na watoto 5. Imagine nikipanda hiyo 70 floor na nipate tu watoto 5 kwa hiyo plot. Unaona ni challenge kwa sababu nitapoteza muda mwingi kupanda gorofa na ina watoto 5. So
the campaign is expected to end on 6th October 2024 with the second round of the drive set to take place in November 2024.
Being day one of the polio vaccine campaign, a visit to Matopeni in Ruaraka is evident that residents in this area have really embraced this noble cause, with health workers urging parents to avail their children for the noble cause. Reporting for Prime Edition, my name is Kasichana Masha.
Lands Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome says the government is on course to ensure Kenyans, particularly those living in informal settlements, benefit from the affordable housing project. Speaking during the launch of Kenya Informal Settlement Program KSIP in Eldoret, Uasin Gishu County, Wahome urged the county governments to support the initiative for Kenyans to access decent houses. The CS further lauded the move by Uasin Gishu County government to implement the Municipality and Cities Act. She cautioned area residents against disposing garbage in undesignated areas, and that is for the purposes of ensuring that the improvement of drainage systems happens and to make Eldoret City conducive and clean. Her visit comes 2 months after Eldoret town was elevated to city status.
Kazi hii inatekelezwa na ofisi ya gavana. Hii ni project ya mashinani na ya county ya Eldoret, si ya national government. National government kazi yetu ni kutafuta pesa, alafu ikipatikana tunaweka sahihi na gavana anatekeleza. Na ninafurahia kwa sababu leo tumeingia Langas, tukaona vile anapanga na tukalaunch simira vile tu security light, drainage, stormwater drainage, rami 2.5 kilometer. Hapa mko na bahati yenu ni 4 kilometers, sijui 4.5 kilometers, na mko na hii drainage ya maji, stormwater drainage. And this work is for a very short period. City yetu iwe clean. But one condition, I cannot come and clean and put a drainage and your work is to bring garbage. Hii storm water drainage si ya kubeba makaratasi, ni ya kubeba maji ya mvua. It will also be an offense if you act your raw sewage into the storm water drainage, because you know you will kill the city, you will kill the people in the city.
Gender equality within Kenya's ministries, departments and agencies is a matter of concern, with reports indicating that only 37% of the 389 organizations have women in top leadership positions. A recent report from the National Gender Equality Commission, NGEC, shows while 90% of those entities have adhered to the 1/3 gender rule for their employees, there is a significant gender gap. at the highest levels of decision making.
Knowledge of what
Women continue to be highly underrepresented in positions of leadership within government ministries, departments and agencies, according to a report by the National Gender Equality Commission, NGEC. A report by NGEC shows that only a paltry 37% of women hold leadership positions in state agencies, with the call being made for deliberate and more inclusive practices that reflect the diversity of the population.
We could say yes, over 90% are complying with to that gender principles. But where are the women? You realize they are not on the top leadership.
NGEC CEO Purity Ngina says individuals with disabilities are also highly underrepresented in government employment, with only 1.5% occupying positions, far below the mandated 5% set by national legislation.
1 minute.
The NGEC report also indicates a troubling trend in academia, where leadership roles at universities are predominantly held by men. Women are often relegated to positions such as treasurers, limiting their ability to influence key decisions and drive institutional change.
Where decisions are made, they are made by the chair or the secretary. And those ones are mainly men. So it would be important for university policies to ensure that if the chairperson is male, then the secretary is female. Hence, you're able to build women who will become leaders later in life.
Advocate for policies that are gender responsive, budgets that are gender responsive. So Kenya's place in the scheme of things, in terms of numbers, we're not doing well. Even in the region, we are lagging. Aside from in the judiciary, because in the judiciary we have numbers, the women are doing women and men are almost at par.
During the University of Nairobi's Women Economic Empowerment Hub Wednesday, university leaders and professors addressed socialization biases embedded in leadership policies.
The importance of systems and institutional change. We cannot continue training women all the time as if they're the ones who don't know, as if they take very long to understand the basic things. And we also think that policy advocacy is very, very important.
Women usually bring a different kind of experience. Women also bring in an emotional, and they're able to empathize, so that they do not just implement policies without thinking of the impact, and especially the impact on other women, the persons who are vulnerable, PWDs, children, and people living in marginal areas.
Let's shift our attention to business now. And the economy expanded at a slower pace in the second quarter of 2024 due to contractions in the mining and construction sectors. The latest data from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics shows that the economy expanded by 4.6% against the 5.6% in the corresponding quarter of 2023. The Bureau says the growth was supported by agriculture, forestry, real estate, financial and insurance activities, and the wholesale as well as retail.
During the quarter under review, mining and quarrying contracted by 2.7%, while the construction sector also shrunk by 2.9%, agriculture, forestry and fishing expanded by 4.8%, real estate 6%, financial and insurance activities 5.1%, while wholesale and retail strengthened by 4.4% in the period between April and July. The current account balance narrowed from a deficit of 159 billion shillings in the second quarter of 2023 to 104.1 billion shillings in the second quarter of 2024. Trade balance narrowed to a deficit of 383.8 billion from a deficit of 403.0 billion in the same quarter of 2023. The improvement was as a result of fast growth of total exports compared to imports. Moreover, the volume of trade rose by 3.9% from 900.5 billion in the second quarter of 2023 to 935.2 billion in the quarter under review. Revenue from domestic exports declined from 225.7 billion shillings in the second quarter of 2023 to 223.3 billion shillings. This was largely occasioned by significant decreases in earnings from domestic exports of coffee, iron and steel, industrial machinery, paper and paperboard and articles. The National Treasury expects the economy to recover, growing at 5.5% in 2024.
President William Ruto has defended plans to expand the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, JKIA, noting that this is in line with government's initiatives to improve infrastructure supporting the tourism industry. Presiding over the launch of the Magical Kenya Travel Expo, President Ruto revealed that travelers connecting via JKIA can now apply for a transit and long connection travelers electronic travel authorization ETA to step out of the airport and enjoy nearby attractions as they await their connecting flights.
Kenya is set to hit 2.5 million tourist arrivals by the end of this year, the highest ever recorded. The government is ramping up efforts to double the number to 5 million tourists by 2027.
Another round of applause, please, for the bucket list.
President Ruto maintains it is essential to upgrade the country's infrastructure, especially in key tourist gateways such as the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport.
We want to have 5 million tourists, and that is the reason why we need to expand our airport. We need to expand our facilities. We need to expand hospitality facilities across Kenya because we have the best premier destination in the world.
We intend to double our numbers, and we have a whole strategy that we've taken you through. We are working on diversifying the products, increasing safety and security, digitizing, among others.
It boasts over 40 unique tribes.
The president attributes the increased arrivals to introduction of a visa-free policy that has facilitated easier entry for tourists as well as the ongoing expansion of road networks. President Ruto says the government will soon roll out a digital work permit and a transit and long-distance connection travels electronic travel authorization to allow nomad professionals and long-distance travelers to explore the country and enjoy their stay.
Specifically designed to welcome global digital professionals, allowing them to live and work in Kenya while enjoying the country's natural beauty. Travelers at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport with time between connections, therefore, will now be able to immerse themselves in magical Kenya instead of waiting at terminals.
One of the marketing initiatives that we utilize to continue to market this amazing destination is the Magical Kenya Travel Expo.
This year's Magical Kenya Travel Expo, which has attracted over 4,000 delegates, will feature participation from various tourism boards, county governments and international buyers cut across Kenya's source markets. Industry leaders are optimistic that the government's continued investment in the tourism and hospitality industry will ignite new collaborations and open fresh doors of opportunities to showcase Kenya's unique offerings. Trevor Ngendo for Prime Edition, Nairobi.
Players in the organic manufacturing subsector want the government to consider allocating funds to support local organic fertilizer manufacturing. Organic Fertilizer and Input Manufacturers Association of Kenya chairperson Jenny Wangari says the subsector needs at least 50 billion shillings to improve and operationalize organic fertilizer factories.
Kenya imported chemical fertilizer worth 67 billion shillings last year, representing a 21.3% drop from 2022. Players producing organic fertilizer say the import bill could be much lower if more funds were targeted towards increasing production of organic fertilizer. Currently, synthetic fertilizer producers manufacture 50,000 tons of the chemical compared to a demand of 800,000 tons.
About commercial, now what we can actually make and sell to other small-scale farmers, we're looking about 50 to 60,000 tons a year today. That's the capacity that has been, that is right by end of 2020.
Sector players say at least 50 billion shillings is required to develop the sector and increase production.
We need a tune of between $300 to $500 million for investment, for equipment, investment and warehousing.
They are calling for a relook at regulations to streamline the organic fertilizer supply chain to ensure farmers access organic fertilizer.
For us to see world-class yield productivity across all our farms, I think the demand needs to be about 1 million metric tons per year for it to make sense.
Financial institutions and development partners have been encouraged to consider advancing affordable credit to organic fertilizer investors to increase production.
It's really important that we have this dialogue with the government to understand also the advantages of organic fertilizer for the local economy, for the environment in the long run, and to bring the public and the private sector side together.
Experts in the agriculture sector say 13% of Kenya's soils are acidic, which translates to approximately 63% of Kenya's arable land, and there's need for more use of organic fertilizer to reduce effect of synthetic fertilizer on Kenyan soils. Benson Rioba reporting for Prime Edition.
Polio is a crippling and killer disease that has no cure. But through vaccination, polio can be eradicated. As a result of a confirmed outbreak of polio in Nairobi and Turkana counties, as well as in our neighboring country, and also low immunization coverages in some counties, all children are at high risk of getting polio. From Wednesday 2nd to Sunday 6th October 2024, the Ministry of Health, county government with support from partners will conduct a polio vaccination campaign in high-risk counties, namely Busia, Bungoma, Trans Nzoia, West Pokot and Turkana, which will target children under 10 years. Also, the campaign will take place in entire Nairobi and selected sub-counties of Kabete, Kikuyu, Kiambaa, Kiambu Town, Juja, Ruiru and Thika in Kiambu County, Matungulu, Kangundo and Mavoko in Machakos County, as well as Kajiado East and North in Kajiado County, where the campaign will target all children under 5 years. Health teams will conduct house-to-house vaccinations. Parents and guardians are requested to ensure their children are at home during the campaign period. Those who are missed during the house visits should get the polio vaccine in the nearest public health facility. Polio has no cure, and it can only be prevented through multiple vaccinations, and each dose given provides additional protection. Parents and the public are requested to report to the nearest health facility any child under 15 years experiencing sudden weaknesses in their hands, legs, or both with no history of injury. Polio and other vaccines have been tested and are safe and effective. Vaccinate and protect your child now. This message has been brought to you by Ministry of Health, UNICEF and other partners.
Avieta imerahisishwa. Sasa kuna njia mpya na rahisi ya kucheza Avieta. Dial *419# kwenye simu yako na ucheze wakati wowote.
Welcome back. The smart city concept is quickly catching up in Africa, with a dozen dotting the continent at various stages of construction. In Kenya, the government has been implementing the Konza Technology City, with the first phase already complete. Privately initiated smart cities like Tatu City and Mwale Medical and Tech City have also come up, wooing investors with cheaper power, tech-driven services and better returns on investments. We talked to Julius Mwale, the founder and chair of Mwale Medical and Technology City, on what inspired him to sink billions of shillings to set up a smart city in a village in Butere, Kakamega County.
Mwale wears many hats. To some, entrepreneur, investor, and to others, is just a local man. I managed to get hold of this man in the village of Lunza, Butere sub-county in Kakamega County. And we got down to understand, why is this man setting up a multi-billion shillings city in the middle of nowhere? And he gave me these answers. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Julius Mwale, for joining us. I mean, the first time I saw you and I interacted with you was more than 14 years ago. I think it was in 2008.
Yes.
At that time, you were in the business of technology.
Yeah.
And you were in the company, you were working with a company back then known as SBA Technologies.
Yes.
Today I'm meeting you here in Butere sub-county.
Yeah.
You're putting up a technology city,
yes,
a medical city,
yes,
among many other things.
Yeah.
When did the transition begin?
I grew up here in this village. I went to school here. I went to military, Air Force, Kenya Air Force. I did telecommunication engineering, and then I moved to America. I started a tech company during 9/11. It's SBA Technologies, focused on biometric to do a two-factor authentication to be able to secure online transactions for people, during that time. And then, of course, the plan, the strategy was to use the technology and to use the business to be able to get the networks and to get, resources so that we can come and transform our community. Because that's my vision. My lifelong vision is transforming the community, and that's how we invested into doing a feasibility study, and then we broke ground here in 2014 to be able to build a medical and technology city, and here we are fully operational in this city.
Why did you choose this place? I mean, completely isolated. There were no roads when you were setting up here.
Yeah.
Electricity was erratic.
Yeah.
There was no proper security.
Yeah.
And so you were starting from scratch.
Yeah. So if you look at pioneers, I am a pioneer. I've been a pioneer in tech. I'm a pioneer in creating, communities in Africa. And when Nairobi started, it was a village. Just over 100 years ago, it was a little Maasai village, a place for water. That's what Nairobi is in Maasai. And of course, the pioneers came, people that built there. They set up, Nairobi around transportation as a stop from, the coast all the way to Uganda, and Uganda Railway. We came here, the number of people in this area. This is called the Lake Region Economic Bloc. Yeah, it has 16 million people in 14 counties around the lake. Same land area as Nairobi Metro of Kajiado, Machakos, Kiambu, and Nairobi County, but those have 8 million. We are 16 million people here. So I chose here because of impact of healthcare. If you want to do transformation and impact, you come to an area where there are the people, and this is where the market for healthcare is.
You see, for any investor, looking for quick returns, this would be the last place where you would want to set up your investment.
Yeah.
Because number one, of the level of incomes in this place.
Yeah.
The development factors. Then the other thing, it's not close to the seat of power, which is Nairobi.
Yeah.
And so why then settle for this place?
Exactly. So Kenya, since 2010, there's a new constitution in Kenya. Population now is about 52 million people. Nairobi area has 8 million. Yeah, so if you want to invest in a business that will target the population of Kenya, the more than, about 80% of the population that doesn't live around Nairobi, you have to go where that population is. And this population and these people, all of them have farms. Yeah, and they have access to an insurance policy for the government. It's called the National Hospital Insurance Fund. It's changing to SHA and SHIF. And that insurance alone is able to basically provide a market for treating, these people. So remember, it's about impact. We shouldn't have a mentality that business is about grab, greed. Business has to be, I'm a social entrepreneur. I'm someone that makes money by empowering people. And, there are a lot of people in this area, 16 million. That's a population of Senegal, twice the population of Metro Nairobi in this area. Mm-hmm. And that's why we targeted to come in this area, because, incomes for people with insurance, everyone, is targeted to have insurance. Even with SHIF, everyone is going to be covered. And that's why we are here. And there's big market. And that's how, you get your returns in a big market like this.
You were telling me that you have invested $2 billion.
Yeah.
That's more than 230 billion Kenya shillings over a span of 10 years.
Yeah.
Where is that money? And can it be felt in the economy of Kakamega, really?
Exactly. So first of all, you've been here, you've walked around, you've seen the roads. So we have 150 kilometers of roads, for Maram and Tarmac. All that done, finished. 3,000 solar street lights, 5,000 acres of land, 710 community members, their homes upgraded. They live in middle-class homes. They have, rental units that have been built for them. They live on a golf course. There's a power plant which is over 10 megawatt, bigger power plant, in the region. There's, as you can see, shopping and dining. There's Mwale, the supermarket has been here since 2016, open, running, Hamptons Cafe, and, investment building, and a hospital. Hamptons Hospital. So all these investments, have grown to be able to change the economy of the area and impact not only here in Butere, but, the entire Lake region, because now we're providing, universal care for people that have NHIF without paying any money. Those people don't pay any money. So you're impacting millions and millions of people. And we're very proud of our investment and the impact that is, it's doing to the community in the area.
Your desire is to put up an advanced cancer treatment center.
Yes.
Here.
Yeah.
Cancer treatment and management is a very expensive undertaking.
Yeah.
And the equipment are also very expensive.
Yeah.
How do you plan to do that?
Yeah, so we've walked in the building, and the building, by the way, has 2 imaging centers, which have X-rays, have CT scans, have the cancer treating department, which has, chemotherapy already operational in the hospital. We opened the cancer center in 2019, and we've been treating cancer patients. Even in the community, we have met patients who come here and be treated for cancer. The expansion for the hospital, it's only based on the medical school. So we have the medical school that, it's called the Great Lakes University of Kisumu. So it's joining us, to be able to open up and to expand on the teaching part, of the oncology. So the hospital is invested into that. But we are teaching hospital now with bringing in the Great Lakes University. We become a teaching hospital, to be able now to do the teaching. And cancer, as you say, it's one of the few departments that are available in the hospital. So you have other departments that are opening in the hospital, like renal department, cardiology department, dermatology department. We have all these, specialty healthcare departments to make this not only an advanced cancer center, but, to be a center of excellence for healthcare in the entire continent of Africa.
You talk about creating a 5,000 bed capacity here in Hamptons Hospital. You are registered by the Ministry of Health under the Kenya Hospital registration process as a less than 50 bed capacity hospital. How do you plan to
Those are levels of registration of the hospital. So you pick levels based on the number of theaters you have, and number of treatment, and number of patients, coming in. Yeah, and so as you spoke, medical school is doing the expansion, and they're bringing thousands and thousands, of trainees and medical professionals to come in the hospital to be able to basically now achieve our dream of having the 5,000 capacity patients, treated at the hospital.
So it is the university that will do that?
Yes, it's a teaching. It's a Hamptons Hospital teaching part is the university. Mm-hmm. So it's our hospital. Our teaching part is our hospital. So the university partners with us to teach, they teach the students that are working and treating patients in our hospital.
What is the collaboration between you and the Great Lakes University?
Yeah, the Great Lakes comes in as teachers for the students to be able to run, the curriculum to teach medical school, and we provide the space. Yeah, we provide, the equipment, to be able to do that treatment.
And when do you plan to have the school up and running?
The school will start in December. December 14th is the date where we are opening, launching the medical school in the Hamptons Hospital.
December 14th?
Yeah, December 14th, 2024.
What is the return on investment on your investment in this area?
It's the best return. So we've started in 2014. We are open. We don't have any problems. We pay our people on time. We pay our vendors on time. We run the business well. We have a power plant, which we have a 10 megawatt power. We can power Kisumu. We can power Kakamega. That's a lot of income just on power alone. You're talking of hundreds of millions of shillings a month just coming out of power alone. The hospital, it's expanding all over the continent with the brand. The money comes in as a franchise fees, very, very good returns, on the investment. And then, of course, the supermarket and the mall, they do shopping for every supply that we need, in the city, and that gives us, tremendous amount, of impact, not only return on money, but return on impact, because farmers in this area can grow their foods, they bring in the supermarket, they can sell, they can have income. The workers that work in the city here, they can give them income, rental income, they can spend back, and this becomes an economic hub that it already is today.
You talk about a technology city,
yeah,
as well as a medical city.
Yeah.
The hospital is here.
Yeah.
You can see it, you can feel it.
Yeah.
I've seen the patients, I've seen the doctors, and I've seen the equipment used in the treatment of patients.
Yeah.
I'm yet to see the technology aspect of the city.
Yeah, exactly.
Where is it?
Exactly. So telehealth, is a part of technology. And then we have other companies that are moving in to occupy the space. Inua AI, it's a tech AI company based in Nairobi. They have taken a space on the 4th floor of the tech park, and they're going to put in about 100 computers to be able to help the locals, hire the local people in IT to do BPO, business process outsourcing, for companies abroad that wanna use the city for that. So tech is the key area of even the medical part that we're doing, because with medical, tech part of that is telehealth.
We have Konza City, which is the oldest form of a tech city.
Yeah.
Then we've also had the Tattoo City as well.
Yeah.
And now you have the Mwale City.
Yeah.
Where we are.
Yeah.
How are you different from Tattoo City?
Exactly.
How are you different from Konza City?
Mwale Medical and Technology City is an integrated master development plan. Yeah, it's integrating. It goes to like an existing village, like the way we came here in Lunza area, and we upgrade the infrastructure to be able to put amenities. So we put roads, we do the solar street lights, we do the hospital, we do the shopping, we do the dining, we upgrade people's homes. Tatu or Konza or any cities you're talking about, they buy empty land, they start marketing, they bring in the people to move over there over decades. For us, we went to an area already with the people, and then we integrated them because we found out what they were lacking, and then we just put in the technology and the services that they needed, and that's how we met, we met those standards.
How many people are working here?
Yeah, we have 1,100 total people working. So those are people that are being served, in the city. As the medical school opens up, we'll have over 5,000 people working here towards the end of the year. The end of next year, in 18 months.
What is the end game of having this kind of an investment in this village?
The end game, like what's the beginning game for having this investment in Kenya? It's end poverty. Kenya has a lot of poverty everywhere, and everyone is rushing to the slums in Nairobi. Yeah, why can't they develop as per the Constitution in the counties, in the rural areas where the people are? Why can't we put these projects the way we've done, a successful sample? This is a successful concept. The beginning concept is how to get every county, every village in the country to be able to upgrade and then serve the population that is there, so that Kenya is a developed country, and it's able to lead the African continent. So this model here has been received well in Africa, very well in Africa. And so we've expanded in 12 countries in Africa, and we expect that as the region expands, we're going to have that in the entire nation of Kenya.
Apart from Kenya, I mean, I've heard you mention about other countries, DRC, Rwanda, and all these. Where else do you have this kind of an investment, this kind of a model going on?
So we have in 12 countries, all over the continent. We have like Southern Africa, we have Zambia, of course, we have Congo, Brazzaville, we have, Cameroon, we have Ghana, we have, Senegal. We have countries even in South America. So we have countries in Suriname, we have Guyana. It's already expanded there. So it's been well received. This is a global model, putting Kenya on the map as the center for doing innovation in building, sustainable communities, sustainable cities based on the economic engine for that particular area, but that particular country, that particular village. It's building based on the economic concept that you have in that area. Here we did land. We use the land for people to be able to do that. And then, of course, we use, the land to build a hospital and then affect people. Congo, you use minerals they have. You use oil for countries with oil. And then so on and so forth, the way we're doing in South America.
And, of course, this kind of investment, I mean, is not easy. I mean, you have to have deep pockets. You have to have... diversified sources of revenue to put up all this kind of infrastructure. How have you managed to raise resources, to put up in this city?
No, as I said, I started with a technology business. I made money, and then I took that money and invested into the city. Yeah, so that's how I began. So now I'm bringing in other players, other people that are coming in to take their own positions within these projects, within these cities going forward. And of course, we're already profitable now. So we're working on the project like the hospital. You mentioned the hospital. The brand of Hamptons, it's now acceptable all over the world, all over Africa, all over Latin America, and they pay for us to be able to implement there, and that's how we receive the income to go.
What investment lessons have you learned while investing in Kenya?
The biggest investment lesson is that Kenya is well known to have a lot of resources in terms of human capital. So you have a lot of young people, highly educated, ready to work and, be able to support your ideas. So anyone that wants to come to Kenya, they have to know that you have the available, affordable human capital that can be able to get you to innovate cheaply compared to other regions of the world, like, in Asia or, in Europe or United States.
Have you been a victim of red tape in government, bureaucracy, corruption?
Yeah. Every business you do, every something you're involved in, there are always challenges. And in Kenya, there used to be red tape before the 2010 Constitution brought up the counties. Now, within the county level, it's easier now for any business that comes in to be able to get approvals at the county level and get started. But for any business that, starts, there's usually teaching for change, to be able to take effect.
Kenya has, has been looking for investors, to invest in many sectors of the economy. If there is one thing that you were to change to make the country more investor-friendly, what would this be?
Yeah, so one of the things I'll be able to change to make the country more investor-friendly, number one, the Kenyan media. Yeah, so the Kenyan media speaks negative of everything that the government does, everything that the private sector does. So there's nothing that is done in Kenya that the media picks up to be able to basically elevate the country into the positive environment. If you go in the US, you look CNN, they say positive things about the investors, the people in Kenya. You have Forbes putting up the entrepreneurs in America and, supporting them, to be able to do that. I've been supported by Forbes, by the way, not better than any other media that has supported, what we do, in Africa. So the first thing that has to be changed in Kenya is the perception of the fifth estate, which is the media. So they have to change the mentality on how they cover the country. Because everyone knows Kenya is burning. Everyone knows Kenya is what's in Somalia. So if you go to America and you mention you're investing in Kenya, people will shake and say, don't go there. You have read the media there, and they say the country is burning down. So if we can have a positive impact. If our media council can basically sit down and train, our journalists and editors into the standards of being able to take the interests of the people here, the interests of the population, and put those first in their reporting, into their information, then we'll have a better environment in the country. Otherwise, the country has resources, it's happy, it has people, it has, people, it's government that, is working and has, may have issues, one here, two there. Business sector is working, may have issues, one or two there, and people may have issues and they may struggle in their lives, but we need to be able to project what we have as a positive energy. I'm a man of God. I look at the positive side of the world. I see the positive things in the struggles that people have, and I think we have to all change that mentality for Kenya. That's why I invested in the village. That's why I came to my community here. People keep on fighting me, and it's my money. I don't know why people fight me for my money, what I choose to do with my money. Yeah, so if I'm going to make a loss, let me make a loss on my money, because I've chosen, to be able to lift, the forgotten people in Africa, forgotten people in Kenya. And I think that's what we need to change. We need to change our mentality, our approach towards our country, towards our cultures. We need to promote our African cultures. We need to be able to say we don't want to invest only in Nairobi, but we can also invest in villages in Masai, villages in Kikuyu area, Western, all the parts of the country, because, that's where we live. That's where the human capital, that for anyone with money, if they want to come to Kenya, they should go where the human capital, which is affordable, highly educated, is.
Despite the negative press, despite the political noise, you always wake up, you dress up.
Yeah.
And you keep going.
Yeah.
Why?
No, because, the fact of the matter is that, I've impacted millions of people already in Kenya. I've built up a medical facility. Anyone with healthcare that at NHIF in this county of 2.5 million can come and get treated. It's a lot of positive. I'm overwhelmed with, positive energy around me. I'm surrounded by positive energy. Yeah, there's no way that I've ever seen a negative noise passing and piercing through that positive energy. So I've done a lot of positive, what you call karma. And, as a man of God, I just get showered with that every morning. And that's what I'm waking up with. And as you do more positive things, you get more positive results. And that's what my life is all about.
Where do you see Julius Mwale in the next 10 years?
Yeah, Julius Mwale will be where I am today. I am someone who's leading a vision for transforming communities all over the world. So 10 years from now, I'll have transformed, maybe another 10 or more communities like this as, they get accepted because this project has been well received on the continent and well received in the world. So 10 years from now, what we're doing here will have multiplied 10 times.
Is this where you plan to retire?
Yes, this is my retirement project. It's legacy. So I'm doing this, for my generation. As a matter of fact, my father was, did a lot of work here in the community. I'm doing the community, my children and the grandkids are going to continue doing.
Tell us something about you that most people don't.
Yeah. So I believe in, I'm a man of God. So I believe in, helping others. I believe that, everyone that is born, everyone that is a soul on the earth, they deserve, the best, and they're the best, child, of Jesus, best child of God. And so I believe that, we all have access to equal opportunity to be able to live fair lives out of poverty, out of suffering. And I, as Julius Mwale, I have dedicated my entire life to be able to transform and empower, the human race, to be able to transform and empower the people. So that is my pleasure. I don't drink. I don't smoke, never drank, never smoked. I don't say anything to people that I don't need to say. I don't lie to people. So I tell the truth, But my biggest thing that people don't know is that I live to empower and transform lives of people. And that's my pleasure.
We've been talking to the chairman and the founder of Mwale Medical and Technology City. This is Julius Mwale, helping us to understand him more. And of course, the concept of the Mwale Medical and Technology City. We are outside the Hamptons Park here in Lunzu Village in the Butere sub-county. My name is O'Brien Kimani. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Bye.
Pata the master flare kwenye star 570 hash option ya 4 na ushindi wako tunautangaza the 6th of October. Tucheze, tusaidie, tushinde!
Thank you for staying with us. It is time for sports with me, Bernardo Kumu. Let's begin with soccer now, where Harambee Stars captain Michael Olunga headlines the 28-man provisional squad named today by coach Engin Firat for the upcoming 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier against Cameroon, which will be played next week on Friday in Douala, Cameroon, while the second leg between the two nations will be played behind closed doors at the Mandela National Stadium, Nambole, in Uganda on October 14th.
Captain Michael Olunga, who continues his prolific form with Al Duhail in Qatar, leads the foreign-based players who include defenders Daniel Anyembe, Johnston Omurwa, Alfred Escriven, Eric Ouma of Raku, and Richard Ondanda of Dundee United. The domestic players include Gor Mahia Sylvester Wino, Alfonso Mija, Geoffrey Ocheng, Rooney Onyango, and Austin Odhiambo. Bandari's Brian Omondi and Ulinzi Stars Boniface Mushiri also made the cut. Tusker FC midfielder David Odoyo receives his first senior national team call-up, while FC Leopards Sydney Lokale returns to the national team after a prolonged absence. The team is set to begin their residential camp this Friday in readiness for the first leg of the double-header scheduled for October 11 at Japoma Stadium in Douala, Cameroon. The return leg will be played on October 14 at Mandela National Stadium, Uganda, behind closed doors, which will be a big blow to the Kenyan fans since it will be a home match for the Stars. Stars kicked off their campaign with a goalless draw against Zimbabwe before hitting Brave Warriors of Namibia 2-1 at the Orlando Stadium in Johannesburg, South Africa.
And now to athletics, where Sports Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has directed Athletics Kenya to declare its election roadmap in order to pave way and ensure seamless preparation of Team Kenya for next year's World Athletics Championships slated for Tokyo, Japan.
Murkomen gave the directions through his speech read on his behalf by Sports Principal Secretary Peter Toom during the unveiling of the 2024-2025 AK calendar of events in Nairobi.
2024-2025 calendar done by Kenya Athletics has consistently been undertaking and has consistently been working towards grassroots, national, regional and global levels. This is commendable, and congratulations on putting together a detailed calendar for this season 2024-2025.
AK President Jackson Tuwei revealed that the Federation has put mechanisms in place to ensure selection of a formidable team with a target of replicating the 2015 performance in China when Team Kenya won the championships as the global showpiece returns to Asia. The 20th World Championships will comprise of 49 events, 24 female and 24 male events, as well as one mixed event.
The problem that we were lacking last time was the stadiums, and if we succeed in having the stadiums ready, I can assure you that we are going to get it, because the hotels are there, the infrastructure is there, you see the roads and everything. So we have everything in place except the stadiums. If that is ready, and I can see that the government is doing a very good job, then I bet that the World Athletics really wants Kenya to host it.
Athletics Kenya 2024-2025 season will get underway with the first cross-country series in Iten on the 19th of this month.
The process is not even with AK, it is with the courts. If the courts allows us to go for elections, we do it immediately by maybe next year.
Trials for the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo will be held in Nairobi from the 24th to 26th of July next year. The 2025 World Athletics Championships will take place in Tokyo, Japan from 13th to 21st of September.
Meanwhile, the Safari Sevens Rugby Tournament will be held this year at the Kenyatta Stadium, Machakos County, from October 11th through to 13th of October. Now, the 26th edition promises to elevate the experience for fans, players and the rugby fraternity by breaking away from the traditional Nairobi setting. Machakos County Governor Wavinya Ndeti said the Safari Sevens will help in community engagement, fostering local talent and promoting sports tourism. 16 teams have confirmed participation in the tournament, including 4 from Kenya. Kenya Rugby Union Vice Chairman Moses Ndale revealed that teams are from the UK, France, Uganda, Zimbabwe and other countries will participate.
Machakos is honored to host the prestigious event for the very first time from the 11th to 13th of October 2024. As we welcome teams and fans from across Kenya and around the world, we are proud to showcase our county's warmth, hospitality, and unique attractions where even water flows up the hill.
Our more request is to ensure that let's put the positive vibe. Let's ensure that we bring the numbers down here. Let's improve the economy of Machakos. And that I can assure the people of Machakos is that rugby is a big thing. It's a big event. Especially Safari 7 that is coming down here is a big event.
Karibu Rugby Master. The Newcastle advanced to the last 16 of the Carabao Cup after a hard-fought 1-0 win over AFC Wimbledon at St James Park. The Magpies will host Chelsea in the 4th round on October 30th. Well, and with that result from the League Cup is how we end tonight's sports. Thank you so much for watching. I take you back to John Jacob Kioria to bring the cup on today's edition of this bulletin. I'm Bernardo Kumu. Have a lovely night.
Thank you very much, Bernardo Kumu. And of course, that marks a cap or marks the end of the Prime Edition. Thank you very much for keeping us company for the last 1 hour and minutes up. We thank you. Have yourself a fantastic night. God bless you. My name is John Jacob Kericho. Our sign language interpreter tonight has been Brian Muraru. See you around.
Polio is a crippling and killer disease that has no cure. But through vaccination, polio can be eradicated. As a result of a confirmed outbreak of polio in Nairobi and Turkana counties, as well as in our neighboring country, and also low immunization coverages in some counties, all children